Now that we have properly configured Alexa for Business within our Poly Cloud tenant, we need to go back to the Alexa for Business console and configure a few more things before we can start onboarding our devices. Navigating back into Alexa for Business, we move down to Room Profiles. Here, the room profile is used to associate a particular set of rooms to an address or facility. This will allow Alexa to understand whenever a room is available, what other rooms would be available based on their calendar availability. All room profiles must be created in the Alexa for Business console today. Clicking in to create the room profile and attaching to the time zone allows us to know what time to properly report back when queried from Alexa. The final part of configuration that can be done in this step is attaching an address book to a particular room profile. Address books must be defined within the Alexa for Business console, and this allows Alexa to know names whenever queried for calling directly. We'll skip this step for now, but come back in a later video. Click on Create, and now what we'll do is we'll actually navigate back into our cloud tenant. Going into PDMS, we're greeted with the information of the latest updates for the PDMS application. We also notice that in our tenant we have been using a base license. This means that we cannot use PDMS for cloud provisioning, but we can use it for the feature enablement for Alexa for Business. Navigating to Device Monitor, we'll see that we have an empty portal currently. We'll click into Add. Navigating down for the device type, we'll select the Real Presence Trio. Here we'll see an option to do cloud service registration. We'll go ahead and check this box and see that our page changes. At this point, we're now awaiting a registration code. Moving over to our actual Trio device, we'll start the configuration of this device. Here we can see that I've previously already upgraded this device to 5.9. This is the baseline requirement for the Alexa for Business feature. Now, to enable the cloud functionality, you will have to import a configuration as referenced in the documentation. If using PDMS for your configuration source, you can use the Polycom standard templates to enable this feature. Here, this is the Poly Cloud Services Enabled port, and my device will reboot. Once a device has been rebooted, I can refresh the page, and I can notice that I have a new option underneath Diagnostics made available for cloud status. Navigating here, I can find the registration code that is necessary to enable it to the cloud services. Taking this value, I go back into my PDMS console and provide the value. When I tab off, I know that my device is correctly identified, as this is the MAC address for my device. I can choose to rename this, and then choose to save. See, the device has been added. Going back to the home page, I can see the device is now listed, and when I click refresh, I see that device has been actually enabled for cloud services and that they are online and healthy. At this point, the device has been enabled for cloud services. However, the Alexa for Business is not currently enabled. Going into the device, we can navigate from the web admin into the Alexa for Business feature. Here we have an option for enabling or disabling the feature. Selecting to enable will cause a reboot. The second option that we have from an enablement is the hands-free mode. By default, this is running in a push-to-talk, where you will have to push the button to invoke Alexa before being able to communicate. Choosing instead to enable this will allow the device to listen for the wake word. Once the word Alexa is spoken, the device will start streaming audio to the Alexa for Business service, which will then allow it to communicate and respond. Clicking Save requires the device to have one more reboot. From a device configuration standpoint, both the Poly Cloud services and the Alexa for Business configurations could be imported and configured at the same time, resulting in the requirement of only a single reboot. Navigating back into the PDMS console, I can refresh to see that the device has come back online and that is currently in a deployment state with Alexa for Business. Now, automatically my device has been whitelisted and connected for basic Alexa service. However, it is not attached to a room. Clicking in to edit the device, I see that I now have a new tab here beyond my cloud registration for Alexa for Business. Navigating here, I can see that that room that I'm attached to is not there. Selecting the drop-down provides me the visibility of any existing room that has already been defined. For the purposes of the demo, we're actually going to go in and click to create a new room. And drop down to find the room profile that I previously created. If I've already configured the room calendaring with the Alexa for Business service, I could define that here. Additionally, if I have skill groups that I've already attached and created, I can select those and attach them to the device now. Clicking Save will update them within the Alexa for Business console. Navigating back into the Alexa for Business, we can see that all of these changes have propagated back. Here we see the PolyCloud demo attached with the My Office Building profile with the MAC address of my device already attached. Looking at the device itself, we can see that the device has been enabled with the Alexa for Business feature online and active. The device is registered and online and able to make and receive calls based on the address and the location of the device. In the next videos, we'll work through configuring the calendaring capabilities of Alexa for Business.